I don't think this human can master the rules. You can't say that for certain. I think the human has shown strong abilities in the first round. The golden crows appeared to be worried. If Suiping were to pass the third round, it would reflect poorly on them, the golden crows. It's him, Humph. Among the golden crows that had finished their turn, the golden crow from the He family wore a hostile look. Its peers glared at Suiping as well, because none of them liked this bug-sized foreign creature. They could not understand why their chief elder was allowing that foreign creature to participate in the trial. It was shameful. Not to mention that the foreign creature had outperformed them. Whoosh! Suiping made his way to the tablet of principles. The remaining young golden crows joined him to make up the 10 participants group. The golden crows flew past Suiping, giving him indifferent gazes. Suiping didn't mind their hostility, since it wouldn't affect him. They could do whatever they wanted. Tablet of Principles. Suiping stared at the towering tablet of principles before him. He felt he was looking at the whole universe. The grains that were inspired by the previous groups had dimmed down. Suiping felt he was standing by the edge of the skies. Suiping took a deep breath and started. Elementary Strength Enhancement. Boom! His strength increased considerably. The elementary strength enhancement could directly increase his strength twofold. Following that, Suiping resorted to agility. He moved so fast that he became a blur. The tablet of principles felt something. 2 grains emerged in the tablet, one in blue and the other in green. The structure of the grains was complex. Suiping felt he had fallen into a trance the moment those grains appeared. He felt he had seen the underlying principles of the 2 skills. He could somehow see their original structure. Principles. That feeling vanished right away, but it did leave an impression in Suiping's heart. He looked away. The onlookers wore graver looks when they saw that Suiping had successfully lit up 2 grains. Still, they were delighted to see that Suiping had not taken further actions. Is this the end for that human? Before the golden crows could confirm their suspicions, Suiping had already made his next move. This time, he used the elementary rules of flames. A huge ball of fire appeared out of nowhere and landed on the tablet of principles. The 3rd grain lit up. It was red. Most grains of such coloring symbolized rules of flames or fire. The golden crows were not happy about that result. Golden crows were among the best when it came to flames. Of all the rules they could master, the rules of flames were a must. Golden crows had more insights on the rules of flames compared to Suiping. Compared to the golden crows, Suiping's understanding of flames was superficial, the grain was thin and small. On the other hand, the golden crow's flame grains were quite large. That being said, Suiping had indeed manifested that rule, otherwise the grain wouldn't have appeared. Bang! Suiping was making another move. Thunder was clapping and lightning was flashing. Dark clouds formed in the sky, and then a bolt of lightning crashed into the tablet of principles. The 4th grain appeared. Rule of Thunder. The golden crows noticed that Suiping's understanding of the rule of thunder was better than the others. That grain was twice as large than the other grains he had inspired. My understanding of thunder is much better than that of flames. Suiping noticed the differences in size. His elementary rules of thunder were about to progress to the middle rank. He had attained such progress thanks to all the heavens tests he had undergone, gaining insights into the rules of thunder. Next, boom! Suiping was making ice. He was using many skills of ice. However, the ice melted on the tablet of principles, there was no visible reaction. That didn't work. He does not understand it well enough. The golden crows were relieved. Suiping would rise to the top ranks if he was able to light up a 5th grain. Wind. Suiping said. The underperformance when it came to ice was expected, it was just an experiment. After all, he had not reached the legendary rank on those skills. He himself was well aware that he hadn't tapped into those rules. Soon after, he noticed that he had also failed with the wind skills. He tried the skills of light, darkness, stone, and metal. All of them failed. Even though he didn't inspire more grains, such a wide range of skills had stunned the golden crows. How can a human have such an extensive knowledge? If he can gain more insight in those areas, I cannot even begin to imagine that. The golden crows got the chills. This foreign creature has great potential. He was outstanding, even when compared to the other golden crows. Suo Ping could be ranked among the top 10 million on the Earth list. The 10 million number sounded large, but compared to countless creatures since the dawn of time, 10 million was nothing. Sword of the Void, Suo Ping stared at the tablet of principles. He had tried all the other skills. He was somewhat disappointed, even though he was sure those skills were not good enough yet. He had one last card up in his sleeve. The swordplay that he had learned in the past 10 days. Sword of the Void. Boom! He took out the sword. Space was rippling. At the same time, Suo Ping was pouring both Ashura and divine energies into the sword. Such a combination made the sword look half transparent. But the killing intent emanated by the sword was definitely not transparent. Suo Ping made the move. The sword light landed on the tablet of principles. The mist over the tablet of principles was moving. A grain appeared. What? No way! A complete principle. The golden crows were stunned speechless. That grain was awfully dense. It was more than 10 times larger than the other grains. That grain stood out on the tablet of principles, shining in glorious radiance. Compared to that grain, the other 4 grains Suo Ping had inspired looked dim. The other 4 combined were less than half the size of the 5th one. That move has the power of rules. Daixing gazed at Suo Ping, stupefied. Daixing was not so surprised when Suo Ping inspired the first 4 grains and used all the other skills. Still, the swordplay was indeed awe-inspiring for the royal crow. The power of rules. That was something Daixing was still pursuing. Daixing was at the fundamental level and could use some of the power of rules, but that was only because of its emperor-level bloodline. It had been born to be better than the other golden crows, all thanks to the pure ancestral bloodline. To make things worse, Suo Ping was at a much lower rank. Nevertheless, Suo Ping had been able to understand that power. It was almost scary. Descendant of a Heaven Master. Did the Heaven Master teach him those things? Daixing murmured. That theory calmed it down. If the Heaven Master was the teacher, it wouldn't be that strange to see Suo Ping attain such a feat. Daixing never had the chance to learn from the first ancestor. If the first ancestor would have given it some guidance, Daixing would be even more powerful. Not bad, the 3 Golden Crow elders were much more composed. They had seen Suo Ping's potential at the very beginning when they questioned him. They had been able to see him through, completely. That was why Suo Ping's revivals had surprised them. For the first time in forever, they had been unable to keep calm when they saw him come back to life. He has the potential to be apotheosized. The elder on the right blinked. Those who had such potential were few and far between. Of all the golden crows, less than 10,000 had a similar potential. I contributed to the creation of the skill, Suo Ping mumbled to himself. He combined the sin cutter and some theory from the Fist of Exorcist, as well as insights derived from his repeated deaths in the cultivation sites. He used all the things he could think of and applied them in the Sword of the Void. Still, the existence of rules in that skill was a complete surprise. If so, then the Fist of Exorcist. Suo Ping's eyes glistened. He punched at the tablet. The golden virtual fist landed on the tablet of principles, but nothing happened. Suo Ping was baffled. The system had given him the Fist of Exorcist as a reward. How come it couldn't inspire any grains? Of course that skill contains rules and is much better than any self-created skill. However, you have just mastered the first level. Of course it wouldn't produce a reaction here. The system's grumpy voice appeared in Suo Ping's mind. Suo Ping curled his lips. Well, truth be told, the system made sense. There were 7 levels of the Fist of Exorcist and he had only learned the first level. When he cultivated the skill, he had once seen a vision where the creator of the skill had been able to kill countless beasts with a single punch. Some of those beasts were as large as the golden crows. If he could reach the top level, it would be extraordinary. Such a pity. Sui Ping shook his head. He didn't have enough cultivation to reach the second level. But after experiencing countless battles, he had the feeling that he wasn't that far off from reaching the second level. Just maybe, he would soon make it possible. One more try. The golden glow receded from the sword, burning dark flames emerged instead. This time, he was using the sin cutter and nothing else. Bang! The ray of sword light landed on the tablet of principles. Nothing. Sui Ping was disappointed. So, he had not learned any rules from the sin cutter, either. That was a skill that Dusk had taught him, it was good as the Fist of Exorcist. However, he was also barely scratching the surface of the skill. I'm glad that you realized it, you're not even close. Work harder, the system lectured. Those 2 skills are not as good as the others. He's not even close to learning the underlying rules of the 2. But given time, he just might. That human, some golden crows were relieved to see that Sui Ping had been unable to inspire more grains with the Fist of Exorcist and Sin Cutter. They could tell that Sui Ping's insights on the 2 weren't deep enough. Still, some of the more powerful golden crows were concerned. They could tell that the 2 skills were powerful. Given time, Sui Ping could learn the rules, which would later produce aggressive results. A descendant of the Heaven Master. Indeed, no wonder he can come here. Some of the more powerful golden crows knew about Sui Ping's background. They had stopped underestimating the human. Stunning, the golden crow elder on the left commented. The elder on the right shook its head. They could tell that the last 2 skills were marvelous. It was a shame that Sui Ping had yet to master them. The 2 skills once again had convinced the elders about Sui Ping's relationship with a Heaven Master. He couldn't have learned such stunning skills without the Heaven Master's help. Once he used the Sin Cutter, Sui Ping didn't have any more skills to try. He didn't feel the need to try again though, since he had already passed the test. He also didn't want to show all his cards since he still had to deal with the comprehensive combat round. He left the tablet of principles and thus his turn ended. The golden crows were happy to see that Sui Ping had finally stopped. If he were to use another skill on Par with Sword of the Void, he would have undoubtedly won first place in the 3rd round. That would be quite the blow and a source of shame to the golden crows. The young golden crows were also relieved after seeing him retreat. All of them became more alert. The foreign creature had been shown outstanding results in all 3 rounds, which had left them full of worry. I cannot believe you've tapped into the rules of thunder, Daixing said to Sui Ping. Sui Ping raised his eyebrows. What do you mean? Daixing gazed at Sui Ping with open confusion. The crow was able to tell that Sui Ping was not being smug, asking while knowing the answer. Nothing. Go back and ask your Heaven Master. Sui Ping was speechless. Damn this arrogant bird. Even though Daixing didn't talk about the specifics, Sui Ping had reached some understanding. Back at the demigod burial, Joanna's subordinates had talked to him about the power of rules. Only those at the star rank or above could have learned those things. Legendary creatures were able to learn how to manipulate space. Star rank creatures could master the ability to control time and space. Other than that, they knew how to manipulate the power of rules. Sui Ping had experienced the power of rules in the Dragon Tower back at the Valiant Academy. The strange age limit had often made him wonder. He suspected that, maybe, Heaven Killer had not aged. That was why a severed finger would carry such strange rules. Entering the Dragon Tower was to actually enter the finger. Heaven Killer's age made the severed finger repel anything older than the Heaven Killer himself. It was illogical, but that was the only answer that Sui Ping could come up with. If that were the truth, Heaven Killer was indeed someone to be feared. It was possible that, like Joanna, Heaven Killer was someone who had reincarnated in a new body, which was why he had managed to attain such achievements in merely 20-some years. Sui Ping shook his head. That was not the time to think about it. Heaven Killer and the Golden Crows were too far above him. After Sui Ping ended his trial, the rest of the young Golden Crows took turns to have a go at the tablet. Several hours later, the trial ended. Many of the Golden Crows failed the third round. No one else offered outstanding performances. The results were announced. Sui Ping was number 2 again. He had inspired 5 grains, but one of them displayed the power of rules. That single grain had allowed him to outperform those that had inspired 6 or 7 grains. The first place was taken by the Golden Crow that inspired 8 grains, 2 of those had been close to the power of rules. Sui Ping was once again the center of attention. He didn't care about it. He would leave after the trial and he didn't even know whether he would return. Now it's time for the comprehensive combat, the Crow's elder said. The tablet of principles shrank and was kept in a small cube, which later vanished in the void. As the tablet of principles disappeared, a battlefield appeared in the void. The battlefield was quite large, Sui Ping felt like it was as big as an entire star. All the young Golden Crows would engage in battle there. When the unfortunate ones died, the elders could bring them back by reversing time. The young Golden Crows could battle with nothing to worry about. Off you go, kids, the Golden Crow chief elder said. The young Golden Crow's eyes glowed in anticipation. Some of the young Golden Crows took the lead and flew to the battlefield, passing above Sui Ping. Light and shadow alternated. Sui Ping was about to enter the battlefield. He wanted to familiarize himself with the environment. However, the chief elder suddenly spoke to him, "You have passed your trial. You don't have to participate in the comprehensive battle." Sui Ping didn't understand. "I don't have to? Why?" Of course, he was happy to save some strength, but the good news came too suddenly. The Golden Crow's chief elder explained, "If you go in there, all the crows will gather and attack you. That would not be fair for you. You've done well enough." Sui Ping thought of the glares he felt from the young Golden Crows. The chief elder was not wrong to suggest this. If he went in there, he would become the only victim. He wasn't afraid of a fierce battle, of course. However, the Golden Crows would lose all dignity if he were to win in such circumstances. "Sure," Sui Ping said, "so, my materials, we will give you the materials. Also, according to our rules, anyone able to pass the trial will be given a drop of heaven's blood. You will have that as well?" Sui Ping asked, astounded. "Heaven's blood?" "That is correct," the chief elder said, "our first ancestor once destroyed a heaven." Sui Ping held his breath. Destroyed a heaven? Could they do that? He remembered that the system had told him about heaven masters who were superior to the very heavens. Thrilled, Sui Ping said at once, "Thank you, Chief Elder." He was immensely grateful. It was obvious that heaven's blood was precious. Otherwise, the Golden Crows would have given all the young Golden Crows a drop. Many young Golden Crows had already made their way into the battlefield, hovering in the sky. The entrance closed once everyone had gone inside. The trial for the Golden Crows continued. In the meantime, in a different place, countless stars were shining and a primitive river of energy was traversing the sky, emitting a surging breath. On the ground stood a massive skeleton that extended into the distance. Daixing and Sui Ping appeared on the skeleton. The wind was chilly, strong as Sui Ping's body was, he was about to tremble due to the cold. He gazed into the distance. There seemed to be a snow mountain in front of him, but upon a closer look, he realized it was actually a piece of bone. He didn't know where he was. It most likely was some important, off-limit location for the Golden Crows. Being familiar with this place, Daixing was neither surprised nor uncomfortable. Daixing began to explain to Sui Ping, "This is our race's forbidden land." Daixing knew that the chief elder must have recognized Sui Ping and wanted to befriend him. After all, the golden crows had no idea what the world outside the celestial star was like. They knew, however, it was not a peaceful time and the exterior was in turmoil. The golden crows were unwilling to get involved in a brawl, that was why they chose to close the star. Still, some battles would come to their doors regardless. To be prepared for the future, it was necessary to befriend a descendant of a heaven master that had purposefully approached them. A forbidden land. Suiping was perplexed. Before Daixing could elaborate, a ray of golden light suddenly appeared out of thin air in front of them. The ray of golden light eventually revealed a golden crow. This crow was not large compared to the others, but it was still massive, as far as Suiping was concerned. You have passed our trial. Thus, you're entitled to the rewards. It was the chief elder. Its voice was refined. Suiping was surprised. This is the chief elder? The one that I could only see the lower half of? After the chief elder finished talking, a cloud of light suddenly appeared in front of Suiping. Then, the light became muddy, it was difficult to look at it directly, and was basically indescribable. The light seemed to be full of countless colors, it produced an eerie and bizarre feeling. Suiping felt as if a beast were waking up in front of him. That is heaven's blood. The chief elder said, the heaven's blood has been purified, all of its prior will has been stripped off of it. If the blood had been freshly harvested from said heaven, not even Daixing, lest Suiping, would be able to use it. The heavens will in the blood would tear them apart. You're learning our skill and we consider that you now have part of our bloodline. This heaven's blood will inspire your potential. If you do have the potential to have a divine body, that potential will also be inspired, the chief elder said. Suiping still had his head in the mud. He simply knew that the item was precious. Thank you, chief elder. You don't have to thank me, the chief elder said. The cloud of murky light suddenly smashed into Suiping's chest and seeped in. Suiping's body trembled, he felt like his chest was being torn. Something squeezed in forcibly. Then there was an extremely cold feeling. It seemed that the blood all over his body had frozen, but after that, it was an extremely hot sensation, as if his entire body was about to burn to a crisp. That contradictory and complex feeling made Suiping endure a little bit of pain. Soon, that boiling sensation receded and turned into a numb sensation. Suiping's entire body was paralyzed, he could not feel a thing and only his consciousness remained. Focus, the chief elder said. Suiping felt that voice was very far away from him. There was an odd alternation of light and shadow in front of Suiping and then he appeared in a turbid world. That world was empty, only some mottled lights and shadows existed. There were also a few beams that looked like meteors, but were in fact powerful principles and rules. Suiping was shocked to see himself surrounded by principles. While being in that chaotic world, he felt his eyes were somehow opening, as if he had one more eye on his forehead. His understanding of the world had changed sharply. Chaos, rules, heaven and earth, the universe. Suiping was completely immersed in it, unaware of the passage of time. Time had no meaning in such a place, it was akin to a controllable substance. It was a wonderful, unspeakable feeling. Suddenly, Suiping felt an extremely cold feeling, coming from the bottom of his heart. Then he felt as if there were a creature standing behind him, staring at him. The creature's gaze was cold, but Suiping didn't feel scared, rather, he felt extremely affectionate. What is that? Suiping wanted to turn his head around but found that he could not move. Buzzing. Suiping opened his eyes again. He saw that he was still standing in front of the chief elder on the snow mountain, or piece of bone, whatever that thing was. The cold and powerful gaze that had fallen on him still remained behind him, and Suiping couldn't help but look back. Suddenly, he saw a pair of extremely sharp eyes and a figure covered in black mist. Interesting. Sorcerer divine body, the chief elder didn't seem to be all that surprised. If anything, the chief elder sounded relieved. I see that the dark sorcerer's bloodline trace in you was stimulated. Suaping looked at the cold and dark figure behind him. It gave him quite a familiar feeling, as if he were looking at himself. This is a divine body, he asked the chief elder in surprise. Yes. That is your divine body, the chief elder answered. Suaping couldn't help but look up at his divine body, and suddenly had a strange feeling. Triggered by a thought of his, the dark figure suddenly merged into him. He instantly felt his strength was ascending rapidly. He felt his body was about to explode. That was even more powerful than the strength the Inferno Dragon gave him. The Dark Sorcerer. The chief elder blinked but didn't say anything. The strength of the divine body gradually faded away and the dark figure no longer appeared behind him. The divine energy's power was part of him. I thought you would awaken our flaming sun divine body. It is a surprise to see that you have a sorcerer's divine energy. Either way, you do have a divine body and there is room for improvement. I hope that your divine body can evolve to its ultimate form one day, the darkest divine body, the chief elder said. Suaping committed that to memory. He nodded. Thank you for the advice, chief elder. Those are the materials for the solar bulwark's second level, the chief elder said. A pile of herbs and materials appeared in front of Suaping. He took a glance and saw that all the materials he needed were there. He was excited. His trip had been rewarding, even without getting those materials. His trip had turned out perfect since he did get them. He could save the little skeleton. Little skeleton, hang in there. Suaping stored the goods in his storage space. The chief elder was once again confused. It could not understand how Suaping opened another space. Suaping was anxious to return. Sorry to have bothered you. If it's all right with you, I'll be taking my leave. A letter. Suaping did not know what to do. He didn't know any heaven masters. It was just an explanation that the golden crows came up with by themselves. Well, before Suaping could refuse, the chief elder produced a ball of golden flames that had no temperature at all, but Suaping was convinced that the flames could burn anything and everything. The fireball flew to Suaping as the chief elder explained, this letter can only be opened by a true god. I hope you can help me deliver the letter. But, Suaping wanted to say that he was not acquainted with any heaven master to turn down the job, but he didn't think the chief elder would believe it. With a bitter smile, Suaping said, Chief elder, is this letter important and urgent? I don't want to lose it and endanger any of your dealings. The chief elder smiled. It's okay. I'm just writing about a minor matter. It is more like a greeting. It would be fine even if you lose it, although, I don't think that would ever happen. After all, I don't think I could kill you, let alone other creatures. I think the only ones able to threaten your life are the heaven masters. The chief elder gave Suaping a meaningful glance. Losing the letter? The chief elder would never believe such a thing. Suaping's revivals were strange and the chief elder believed it was proof of the heaven master's hand. The chief elder was convinced that the heaven master would assist Suaping on his way back. Well, since the chief elder had said so, Suaping could only accept the job. He was glad to know that the letter was not about a critical matter. Anyway, it was impossible for him to deliver it since he had no idea what a heaven master was. The ball of flames flickered and then submerged into Suaping's forehead. Mr. Su, I will see you out, the chief elder said after Suaping took the letter. Suaping nodded. Daixing had been standing by their side quietly. As Suaping was about to leave, Daixing called him abruptly. Hey! Suaping gave Daixing an inquiring look. Daixing worked up the courage and asked, Is the world outside interesting? Suaping was surprised by that question. What do you mean? If you want to know about the food and drinks, I think they're fine. You can have tasty food and you can watch some TV if you get bored, or play some games. If that cannot make you feel interested, you can also go on adventures. Of course, if you're the one going on adventures, I think you would only force everyone around you to experience adventures." Daixing said nothing. The chief elder heaved a sigh and said to Daixing, "It is time for us to leave. Kyang will be able to leave the star one day. That day will come when you become more powerful than me." Daixing looked at the chief elder. Daixing had been hearing that since it was a baby. More powerful than the chief elder? The chief elder's life was longer than anyone could imagine. Daixing just knew that the chief elder was one of the earliest guards of their first ancestor. To become more powerful than the chief elder was something too far in the distance from Daixing's point of view. Sui Ping realized how eager Daixing was to go out. He followed the chief elder's lead and advised Daixing, "Yes, cultivate well if you want to get out and explore. The world outside is dangerous." Sui Ping heaved an inward sigh. If he could sign a contract with a star-rank creature, he swore he would get the bird to leave with him. Unfortunately, he wasn't strong enough. Maybe he could try that when he became strong enough in the future. Sui Ping was cheered up by this. The glow in Daixing's eyes dimmed down, then merely snorted as a reply. "I might be able to take you out for a trip if I can come back here sometime in the future," Sui Ping said. He was paving a way for his future endeavors, and he also wanted to see how the Golden Crows would react to that. Upon hearing that proposal, the chief elder narrowed its eyes to hide the glint of coldness, but its voice pitch did get lower. "Mr. Su, it is time for you to leave." Daixing wanted to say something to Sui Ping, but the latter had already been teleported away. "Kyang work hard. The world outside is dangerous. The human has a mysterious background and he's able to bypass our first ancestors' formation. I don't know how many peaceful days are left for us." The chief elder hovered in the air. It gave Daixing a solemn look and then flew away. Daixing watched as the chief elder vanished from its sight, lingering on the spot for a while. Daixing remained quiet for a long time. "So hot." Sui Ping was panting. Once again, hot air was surrounding him. He felt he was soaking in boiling water. Sui Ping looked around and saw nothing but redness in his eyes. That was a deserted land. The chief elder appeared and asked Sui Ping, "Mr. Su, can you go back from here?" Sui Ping looked around. Daixing was no longer present. The chief elder must have teleported him away so that he couldn't trick Daixing. It was obvious. If he wanted to trick that bird into going away with him, he first had to find a way to deal with the chief elder. Sui Ping shook his head. That was a worry for another day. "Yes. Chief elder, thank you for your help. I will never forget about the Golden Crow's kindness." The chief elder adopted a softer attitude with Sui Ping. "Please send our regards to your heaven master." Sui Ping nodded with a forced smile. There was nothing left for them to talk about after saying their goodbyes. Sui Ping didn't want to continue with that awkwardness. "So," he said to the system in his mind, "time to go. Are you sure? You still have 8 hours, 42 minutes and 21 seconds left." "Yes, I am sure." Sui Ping nodded. He had been staying here for over half a month. He wouldn't stay for another 8 hours if there was nothing to be gained. The environment would no longer refine his body. The moment Sui Ping confirmed, a swirl appeared behind him and a strong force pulled him inside. That swirl made the chief elder widen its eyes. If it hadn't been there to witness the process, the chief elder wouldn't have believed that Sui Ping's return method was that simple and rough. He was teleported away. But the celestial star was closed. No teleportation was allowed. No energy nor force could shatter that rule. And yet, a teleportation was happening right in front of its eyes. The chief elder even began to wonder if their formation was still working. "See you, chief elder." Sui Ping waved at the crow. The chief elder came back to its senses and saw Sui Ping disappearing within that swirl. Before the swirl was dispersed, the chief elder reacted fast and sent a golden flame inside the swirl. All of a sudden, the chief elder heard a snort that came out of nowhere. The probing flame flickered away and vanished. The chief elder was appalled. I can't believe it, the chief elder sounded terrified. Longjiang Bay City. Pixie Pet Store. Whoosh. The swirl spat Suaping out. Phew. Suaping felt he had been thrown into a deadly cold planet, but he soon adjusted himself. He looked around and was happy to see the store. He was back. Finally, he was safe home after his trip to a top-level cultivation site. Little skeleton, Suaping's eyes glowed as he thought of the little skeleton. Without further ado, he was ready to go to the test room. Right then, Joanna went into the pet room. Suaping was standing there, stark naked. The first instinct was to look away, but Joanna held the urge and forced herself to stay calm as she stared right at him. Finally, you're back. I cannot believe you were gone for so long again. Suaping was wondering. So, what is going on? He dug out some clothes from his storage space and put them on. His clothes had been burnt off on the celestial star. Even a treasured artifact would be destroyed in that environment, not to mention his clothes. I think something serious has happened. Many people have come to the store to find you, including your sister and parents, Joanna said. Suaping was startled. They were here? What happened? He was in a rush, so he had not authorized Joanna to operate the store when he left. The store had been closed while he was away. He thought he was just leaving for a few days, but the fact was that half a month had already passed. I'll go and have a look, Suaping said. The matter about the solar bulwark was not a priority. He hurried to the storefront and opened the door. Light shone into the store. But something was different. The first thing he saw was a row of buildings across the street. The Qin family and the other 4 major families had bought the buildings and they had plugged their family flags on them. But what caught Suaping's eye was a large number of titled warriors right across the street. They were armed to the teeth and covered in blood. The blood was still fresh. Suaping was worried. He went out of the store at once. As he opened the door, those standing in front of the Qin family's property were startled. The titled battle pet warriors gathered around the Mu family and the Lu family also turned, clearly surprised. They were overjoyed to see Suaping. Mr. Su! Mr. Su! Mr. Su, you're here! I'm so glad! The titled battle pet warriors were thrilled. They were from the 5 major families and they lived in Longjiang Bay City. Naturally, they had witnessed Suaping's development. They held the young man in high regard. What is going on? Suaping blurted out the question. Whoosh! From the Qin family's building came out a man who rushed to meet him. It was Qin Shuhei. Man, he stared at Suaping, a little reserved. He had been the superior titled battle pet warrior when he first met Suaping in the mysterious realm, but as time passed and had chance encounters, he realized he was no longer superior. Mr. Su, finally. We thought you were away. Qin Shuhei sounded worked up. Suaping frowned. I heard something is amiss. Have the wild beasts come back again? Qin Shuhei nodded and then shook his head. Yes, the wild beasts are coming, but Longjiang is not the only one base city under attack. Other base cities have become victims to the wild beasts. 13 base cities of our subcontinent district have fallen in the past 2 weeks. What? Suaping narrowed his eyes. An average base city could have a population of 10 million and the Class A base cities were even larger and more prosperous, able to house a population of 100 million. One base city falling would result in great casualties, not to mention that more than a dozen base cities had been destroyed thus far. What is going on? Suaping had to know. Qin Shuhei said quickly, soon after you returned last time, wild beasts began to strike around the globe. Large-scale strikes. No one was able to tell where the wild beasts were from, but their numbers were great. They were everywhere when they attacked the base cities. Many were caught off guard and were soon routed. A lot of the wild beasts are beast kings. It is as if all the beasts around the world were gathering. Suaping could not believe that. Wild beasts around the globe? He thought of something. He thought of what he had seen when he exited the deep caves. Beasts were waiting quietly in the wilderness. The wild beasts were of different kinds, but they were peacefully clustered together. They were like well-trained soldiers. Suaping felt his blood freeze. That was not a good feeling. So, you say this is a global strike? Have you heard anything from the deep caves? Qin Shuhei was surprised. How did you know about that? Yes, we've heard that the wild beasts escaped from the deep caves. The tower was informed, but they didn't verify anything, so we couldn't confirm the facts at all. We're still speculating at this point, but I think it's most likely that the wild beasts are indeed from the deep caves. Only then did Suaping think of the tower. What is the tower doing about this? The tower has sent legendary battle pet warriors to the base cities so they could lend a hand during the beast strikes. Qin Shuhei said. The Longjiang base city is doing better than the other base cities. Wild beasts were coming this way, but they actually didn't strike us. The tower didn't send any legendary battle pet warriors over. However, my father is at the legendary rank and he can help, plus, you are also here, Mr. Su. Suaping frowned. Why didn't the tower send a legendary battle pet warrior to this base city? He suddenly knew the answer before Qin Shuhei replied. Qin Shuhei shook his head. I don't know. I heard from my dad that the tower didn't want to waste manpower since you're here. Suaping nodded and could not disagree. Whether the tower didn't want to waste manpower or was doing it on purpose, it was not a matter to consider at the present moment. They were currently at war, and the entire human race was involved. It was a battle between two races vying for the blue planet. Personal grudges had to be left out. What are you doing? Suaping asked about the gathering of titled rank battle pet warriors. Qin Shuhei answered, well, here's the thing. We have been discussing. Many base cities are suffering and many people have managed to escape from those base cities. There are 2 base cities close to our Longjiang base city and we have been conducting trades with them. We're going to help the refugees from the 2 base cities so they can settle down in Longjiang. Apart from helping the refugees, there's another base city by the border of Longjiang that is going to be struck by wild beasts. We're discussing how many people we should send to help them. After all, Longjiang can protect itself at the moment. We should do our best to help others. Suaping nodded. Okay, good. Please do. I have something else to attend to. Of course. Suaping nodded. Suaping's mere presence had given everyone confidence. He didn't have to say or do a thing given that Suaping was there. The 5 major families were able to decide on whether they should assist other base cities. Longjiang had Suaping and that was good enough. If he couldn't safeguard the base city, no one else could. They might just as well try to help others. Suaping didn't linger, he went straight back home. His family lived inside the safety zone of the store, which was to his great relief. Even if he were away and could not take care of them, no one could get hurt as long as they were still there. Ever since his trip to the Golden Crow's Star, Suaping had more confidence in the system than ever before. None of the wild beasts in the entire world could step into the store's territory. The store was the safest place on the blue planet. Qin Shuhei went back to the Qin family territory after Suaping left. The other titled battle pet warriors said their hellos to Suaping across the street, regardless of whether he could see them or not. They admired Suaping. Suaping's outstanding combat strength alone was enough to awe them, not to mention the fact that Suaping had saved the Longjiang base city from the otherworld Heavenly King. Soon, Suaping went back home. Dad, Mom. Suaping saw his parents sitting in the living room with Zhongling Tong, but there was no sign of Solingyu. He could not sense her presence on the street. Where is Solingyu? Suaping asked. You're back. Li Qingru and Su Yuanshan were surprised by Suaping's return. They put down what they were doing and approached him. Zhonglington screamed in delight and jumped off from her chair to run toward Suaping. Finally, we get to see you. Did you stay in your store all this time? We knocked on the door. Didn't you hear that? Su Yuanshan asked Suiping. Li Qingru gazed at Suiping with a reproaching look. Suiping was in the store but he had not gone out in a while. They weren't happy about it, especially after they had gone to find him several times. I was cultivating and got a little carried away. Suiping had become more than skilled when it came to lying. Where's my sister? He asked again. Sir. Zhongling Tong skipped over to Suiping. Sir, your sister went to the border of the base city. She said she wanted to see the situation over there, Zhongling Tong answered. Nonsense! What can she do there? Suiping was angry. And where is Tang? She hasn't come back yet. He had asked Tang Ruin to help sort out Li Yuanfeng's family business, but that had been half a month prior. She should have returned by then. Sister Tang went out with your sister. You don't have to worry about Ling Yu, sir, while Sister Tang is with her, Zhongling Tong said with a smiling face. Suiping glared at her. They aren't that different in rank. I don't have to worry. Neither will come back if they get into trouble. Zhongling Tong stuck her tongue out. Sister Tang is good. Suiping snorted but said nothing else. From Qin Shuhei's update, Suiping learned that the Longjiang base city was quite safe for the moment. Qin Duhuang, the sly fox, was in charge. Tang Ruin was something like a fate challenger and she could deal with any of the average beast kings. She would be safe as long as she didn't run into void state beast kings. I'm glad you're safe and sound. Mom, Dad, whatever happens, remember this, the wild beasts can come, but you'll be absolutely safe as long as you stay at home, Suiping said to his parents. Listen to you. There would be nowhere else to go to if the beasts do come here. Don't say things like that, Li Qingru reproached. Still, the store would be the last line of defense. Anyway, even if the end of the world is upon us, just stay here, Suiping repeated solemnly. Don't worry. Your mom and I won't go anywhere, Su Yuanshan said. Where are you going? The situation outside is very bad. I heard you have legendary rank combat strength, but with greater strength comes a greater responsibility. You must take care of yourself. I understand. Suiping felt a surge of warmth spread in his heart. I'm just going to do something that is my duty. Su Yuanshan nodded. Good. Li Qingru yanked Suiping's sleeve and whispered, I heard that those big families across the street are going to help the other base cities. Are you also going? Isn't that too dangerous? I know you're a good battle pet warrior, son, better than anyone else, but you're not undefeatable. Don't go anywhere. Stay here. She was almost begging. Suiping understood that his mom didn't want him to take risks. He patted the back of her hand to comfort her. Don't worry. I won't let anything happen to me. Li Qingru was still worried but Su Yuanshan stopped her. Our son knows what he is doing. Let's not bother him. Li Qingru glared at her husband but eventually decided not to argue at the moment. Anyway, I just want you to be safe, she said to Suiping. Suiping smiled. Before leaving, Suiping said to Zhongling Tong, stay here and take care of my parents. Don't go anywhere. Zhongling Tong wasn't happy to see him leave that soon. Sir, be a good girl. Suiping patted her head and cut off the remaining part of her sentence. His parents and Zhongling Tong watched as Suiping left the house. They felt that Suiping was too far away from them. Suiping went back to his store and saw that the 5 families were still gathered in a meeting. He wanted to lend a helping hand but he couldn't split himself. He had to save the little skeleton. He closed the door, he didn't want to open the store to the public. He was going to use the materials he had brought for the second level of the solar bulwark. Finding the little skeleton was the priority, Suiping believed he could deal with the ensuing crisis with the little skeleton. His visit to the Golden Crow Star had been a rewarding and vision-broadening trip. However, he had not become contemptuous of the blue planet's conditions. The vastness of the celestial star and the powers of the Golden Crows were too distant from him. The blue planet was the place he had to focus on. The deep caves. Suaping had not reached the deepest level yet. He didn't know what could be hiding inside. Besides, the 4 heavenly kings could not be ignored. Has something happened? Joanna asked after Suaping returned. Suaping nodded. I'm going to cultivate for a bit. He was heading to the test room. Cultivate? Joanna raised her eyebrows. Right after you came back. She sized him up and down. I think the place you visited this time has benefited you, Suaping nodded. Without further ado, Suaping went to the test room. He took out the materials from his storage space. Suaping felt a surge of energy merely by being in front of those materials. The trip had indeed been fruitful. He agreed with Joanna. He had already reached the upper position of the titled rank. 1 step away from the peak. His physical strength had increased, which could be seen from the first round of the trial. Even without merging with the little skeleton, Suaping was able to muster a combat strength close to the fate state. He had not tried to use the Sword of the Void to confront any foes, but he could ascertain that it wouldn't be a weak skill. Pal, wait for me, Suaping took a deep breath and closed his eyes. The method to cultivate the solar bulwark appeared in his mind. Whoosh! Golden flames rose around him, burning the newly changed clothes to ash. The flames didn't hurt Suaping. On his back, strands of golden light were shot out from the depths of his pores, faintly forming the figure of a golden crow. It was in a soaring posture as it reached the skies. Suaping lifted his hand and took the materials which had been refined by the golden flames. The impurities were discarded, leaving behind only the pure energy liquid. The energetic fluid flew into Suaping. He was increasing in momentum as he applied those materials. Cry! Suaping felt as if he had fallen into a trance and sucked into an ancient world when he absorbed the last material. There was no sky, nor ground, nor stars. It was just chaos. Still, there was a cry that had cut open through the chaos. The cry was getting clearer and clearer, echoing in Suaping's mind. His cells and astral powers were vibrating along with the rhythms of that cry. The filth hiding in the depths of his pores were being sifted. In a daze, Suaping thought he had seen a ray of golden light in front of his eyes. Boom! Suaping felt that something had broken through his mind's limit. Immediately afterwards, his body suddenly broke free from that previous feeling of fullness as unprecedented violent energy gushed out of his body. Cry! Suaping opened his mouth and cried like a golden crow. That sharp and sonorous cry echoed in the test room. Suaping opened his eyes and golden flames were burning inside them. He was covered in golden flames and a virtual golden crow appeared behind him. The image was almost intangible, one could barely see the 3 feet of the golden crow. Suaping felt a surge of unknown energy as it filled his limbs. He was powerful. Invincible. Suaping felt he could pick the stars and crush the moon. Golden crow flames. Suaping lifted his hand. A ball of golden flames appeared in his palm. The flames were twisting the air, leaving behind smoke like dark marks. But the fact was that the space was cracking. Golden crow flames, a terrifying inherent skill of the golden crows. Beside the addition of the new skill, Suaping felt his muscles had tightened. He made a move. In a blur, he had appeared by the other side of the test room and then he punched the wall. Bang! The wall was shaking. Those outside couldn't feel the area shake but the feeling was clear inside. I have reached the peak. Suaping stopped. He noticed he had reached the peak of the titled rank. 1 step away from the legendary rank. I wonder if I can fight a fate state creature without the help of my battle pets, Suaping asked himself. He had only been able to do so by merging with the little skeleton. He would have had to run for his life if the fate state creature was exceptionally strong. However, the trial undergone with the Golden Crows and the Solar Bulwark's second level had boosted Sua Ping's confidence. He had still not fought against a Fate State creature, but he was convinced he was a good contender, just like when he merged with the little skeleton. He would only be stronger if he merged. I am coming for you. Sua Ping's eyes glowed. The virtual Golden Crow vanished behind him. Moments after, a dark figure appeared and it looked just like Sua Ping. That was Sua Ping's divine body. There was a glint of coldness in the divine body's eyes. The divine body gradually became one with Sua Ping. Whoosh! Sua Ping turned around. He reached the door in an instant and went out of the test room. When the store was open, she could be of help and she could become an outstanding employee sooner. You can help manage the store for me, Sua Ping said. He was up to his neck with things to do, but he couldn't give up the store. If anything were to happen, he would have to rely on the store and the system. He looked at the revenue. His trip to the celestial moon had cost him hundreds of thousands of energy points, which was fewer than he had anticipated. He had gotten lucky because he managed to pick up the yang fruit soon after he got in and managed to become more resistant to fire. Otherwise, he would have died hundreds of times over during the past 2 weeks. Help me plant the tree. Sua Ping took out the scroll. A burst of hot air was suddenly felt as soon as the scroll was opened, like an erupting volcano. Sua Ping was taken aback. He then sensed that the world inside the scroll was completely burned. Everything had been obliterated. The picturesque landscape was scorched. That astral spirit fruit tree was also gone. The astral spirit fruit tree was a rare and cherished item, maybe less so when compared with the yang fruit tree, but it would be revered by titled battle pet warriors. But the tree was gone. Anyway, where's that girl? Sua Ping noticed that Yan Binjiu, who had been kept inside the scroll, was nowhere to be found. Was she burned to death? Sua Ping was speechless. That yang fruit tree was more intimidating than he had imagined. He had stored it inside the scroll, turning the world inside into a veritable hell. While Sua Ping was in shock because of the yang fruit tree, he heard a girl's angry voice. Finally, you're here. That voice sounded familiar. He focused his sight and saw that a half-transparent figure had floated out from the tree. Was it Yan Binjiu? She didn't die? No, she just didn't die completely. Sua Ping curled his lips. He could tell that it was Yan Binjiu's spirit. Her physical body was gone, but the realm of the undead had failed to take her soul away. You got me killed. Did you know that? Yan Binjiu shouted in rage. She was clenching her teeth. Nothing had happened to her while being inside the scroll. She had been praying that there would be a chance for Sua Ping to let her out. However, one day, out of nowhere, a flaming tree fell from the sky when she was cultivating, and it just so happened that the tree had fallen on top of her. She could not even cry before she had melted. Her body was vaporized and the tree absorbed it like a nutrient. She noticed that her consciousness had been trapped inside the trunk of the tree and she was unable to get away. She finally began to accept the fact after a long time passed. She had died. Her soul was imprisoned in the tree. I didn't do it on purpose, Sua Ping wanted to explain. Whatever he said came as a weak excuse. He didn't do anything on purpose, but she had in fact died. The world inside the scroll was scorched. She must have died a painful death. Piss! What is that look on your face? Yan Binjiu pulled a long face. I don't think you're at all sorry. Don't you feel the least bit of guilt? You cannot say that. I am sad. My heart is bleeding. The blood is just diverted into other blood vessels. Sua Ping heaved a sigh. Yan Binjiu was about to break her teeth when she saw that sadness on Sua Ping's face. She knew that Sua Ping held a grudge against her, and it was because she had almost killed his sister. That was why he had been keeping her there. But your sister lived. I was kept here long enough. You should have vented your anger by now. You're going to die a bad death. Yan Binjiu cursed. Since she had died, she was no longer praying for Suiping to let her go, alive. Are there any kinds of deaths that are good? Suiping said, anyway, how come you're still here after dying? Did your spirit merge with the tree? Yan Binjai crossed her arms in front of her chest. You're the one to be blamed. I cannot even be reincarnated in a new body. Suiping shook his head. That is not my fault. Who told you that you would reincarnate in a new body after dying? Have you visited the undead realm? The deceased are just a bunch of wandering ghosts in that place. You should thank the tree that you are still here. Yan Binjai sneered. Don't talk like you have been to one. I have, Suiping said. He didn't go into details because that wasn't something he could explain. This girl's situation is uncommon. Do you know the reason? He asked the system. What do you think is the reason? She was assimilated by the tree and has become the tree's associated spirit. The system sounded to be familiar with such cases. Suiping raised his eyebrows. Associated spirit. The tree is young and it hasn't formed its consciousness yet. Her consciousness took over, you can say that she is now the tree's spirit, the system explained. Suiping was stunned. Tree spirit? The girl became the spirit of a tree? So, she can control the tree, right? Suiping asked. Of course. Suiping was speechless. He couldn't have, for the life of him, anticipated that Yan Binjai would become a tree's spirit. He wondered if that was good or bad for her. However, if she was the tree spirit, cultivating the tree was to cultivate her. That was a headache. Can I separate her from the tree? Suiping asked. Yes, but your powers aren't even close, the system answered. Suiping lost his tongue. As he gazed at Yan Binjai who was floating above the tree crown and biting her teeth, Suiping said, don't look at me like that. You look like a vengeful ghost. Yan Binjai was about to calm down when the words vengeful ghost rekindled her rage. Who turned me into this? You, it was you. Yes, 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 Suiping nodded. You have a choice now. Forget about it. You can face annihilation or you can listen to me. Maybe you can regain freedom in the future, Suiping said. Annihilate me? I've died already. I'm not afraid of you, Yan Binjai protested. Suiping heaved a sigh. You're not dead, you just lost your body. True death means that your consciousness is gone forever. You can at least talk, right? What do you mean I just lost my body? Do you know how important that is for a girl? 211 Think it through. Live in the tree to prevent your consciousness from being destroyed. If you work with me, you can have your freedom back one day, Suiping said solemnly. Can I trust you? There's no one else you can trust. You are shameless. Make your choice. Forget about it. You asked for it. Suiping took the tree out. The scorching heat from the tree was completely unable to affect him, plus, the store was impervious to the heat. What is that tree? Joanna was startled when Suiping took out the tree. She stepped back, clearly afraid. The heat from the tree was making her sweat. A golden glow appeared over Joanna, she covered herself with divine energy. Whoosh! A branch tried to smash Suiping. Suiping immediately grabbed the branch. You! It came as a surprise to Yan Binjai that Suiping had been able to stop her sneak attack. After being imprisoned in the tree, she gradually noticed she had become different from before. First of all, she was more sensitive to her surroundings. She learned that she could control the tree, which was quite destructive. That was why she was torn between hating Suiping, and not, all at the same time. She no longer had a physical body, but she had become over 10 times more powerful than before. So, you were trying to kill me. Suiping did not know what to say. I gave you this thing. Do you think you can hurt me with it? Yan Binjai's face was clouded. Suaping let go of the branch and said coldly, "Never mind. Make your choice." That time, Suaping was serious, Yan Binjia was struggling. Eventually, she decided. "I know what I should do." Suaping nodded and said to Joanna, "Take care of her. Anyway, have you seen a tree like this? It's called Yang fruit tree. Do you know how to grow such a tree?" Joanna was dumbstruck. The Yang fruit tree. One of the 5 mysterious plants of the fire family. The 5 mysterious plants of the fire family. Suaping said, "I don't know." Joanna had become used to Suaping's lack of knowledge. She calmed herself down and gazed at the tree for a bit longer. "I cannot believe that you stumbled upon this thing in your trip. I heard that they had gone extinct. This is a tree that should have only been found in the immemorial age." Suaping shrugged. He did get the tree from the immemorial age. "Since you know how to take care of it, please do so. The fruits are valuable. You, bear some fruits as soon as possible so I can sell them for good money," Suaping said. He and his battle pets could eat the fruit. They would become popular products of his store. After all, that was a fruit that could make anyone resistant to fire. It was a must-have for battle pets of the fire family. "You bear fruit. Your entire family bears fruit." Yan Binjia shouted. Suaping glared at her. "I understand." Joanna still had troubling feelings. Even she had been unable to foresee that she would ever see that tree, which was supposed to be extinct. "This scroll is of no use now. I have to find something else. The system's storage space is too small," Suaping thought. He no longer could not put anything into that wasted scroll. The edge of the scroll had been burnt, it could shatter into pieces at any time. The world inside would also collapse. It was not a risk worth taking. He shook his head and threw the scroll over to Joanna. He remembered the chained ghost he had captured in the deep caves, a demon beast currently at the void state, which could later evolve and could grow to reach the fate state. There was a small chance that the chained ghost could later evolve and become a ghost lord at the star rank. "I'll keep it here and sell it to someone trustworthy." Suaping moved the chained ghost from the beast catching ring to the on sale page of the system. A ball of dark mist surged into the store and the chained ghost appeared. It was much smaller than before. The chained ghost lay on the ground. It looked ferocious but was no longer willing to move. Joanna was surprised by the chained ghost but managed to calm down soon. The beast was rare, but she had seen others which were more powerful than that. Apart from the chained ghost, he took out the other beast kings he had captured from the deep caves. Most of the beast kings were at the void state and at the peak of their growth. There wasn't much training value left for them. Suaping was planning on selling those beast kings. It just so happened that the world was in chaos and wild beasts were everywhere. Selling those beast kings to the legendary battle pet warriors would help the human race as a whole. However, since those beast kings were at the void state, he could not sell them to titled battle pet warriors. Otherwise, he would have been inclined to offer Venerable the Blade 1 or 2 beast kings. After all, he wasn't close with many titled battle pet warriors and he mainly trusted Venerable the Blade. "Put them on display and I will make the sale myself when I come back," Suaping said to Joanna. All of them were void state beasts, it would be risky to sell them to someone he wasn't familiar with. He had to select the customers himself. "Yes," Joanna said. Joanna was not surprised when she saw Suaping take that many beast kings out. She knew him well and there was something mysterious about him. She would not be surprised if Suaping were to give her a star rank beast. On the other hand, Yan Binjia was stunned while she floated above the tree crown. She had been kept in the scroll and she knew nothing about Suaping after he made the Tang family bend and compromise. Those beast kings were eye-openers. She felt that she had missed out on too many things while she was kept inside the scroll. When did this guy become so powerful? Her fear made her decide to stop offending Suaping. "I have to find someone to ask about a certain matter," Suaping said and handed over the store's operation to Joanna. Joanna nodded. Suaping took over the man's phone and went straight to the point. "It's me, Suaping. I want to ask you about something." "Mr. Su." Qin Duhuang had recognized Suaping's voice before he introduced himself. Suaping's call surprised him. "Yes, what is it?" Qin Duhuang was speaking with the utmost respect. He was there when Suaping challenged the tower and managed to leave in one piece after killing legendary battle pet warriors who were stationed there. Suaping was also the one who had sold the Beast King to him. He still believed that the Beast King was more like a gift because no one would have sold a Beast King at such a cheap price. "Nothing. I'm just asking about the tower and the beast strikes," Suaping said. Qin Shuhei didn't give him enough details, Suaping hoped Qin Duhuang could paint a clearer picture for him. "The tower," Qin Duhuang said, "I didn't pay much attention to the tower, but I think they're doing something recently. They sent out legendary battle pet warriors as reinforcements to the base cities. I heard they were organizing some base cities to prepare defense lines against the wild beasts. The Longjiang base city will be part of the defense line at the southeast." "A defense line?" Suaping frowned. The wild beast strikes were more serious than he had originally thought. "Have you heard anything about the 4 heavenly kings?" Suaping asked. Compared to the other wild beasts, the 4 heavenly kings were more threatening. After all, the weakest of the 4, the otherworld heavenly king, was at the fate state. The other 3 would only be more intimidating. "I heard that people have found traces of the 7 Sins heavenly king in the Nordic continent. The other 3 heavenly kings have yet to make an appearance, but I suppose they're going to come out sooner or later. The 4 heavenly kings have to be behind the recent strikes. I think they might be working together." Qin Duhuang voiced his concerns. The 4 heavenly kings were 4 beast kings that were the rulers of all wild beasts on the blue planet. The 4 were endowed with a high intelligence. People could work together and so could wild beasts. Since the strikes around the world were large in scale, the 4 heavenly kings had most likely started an alliance. "Anything going on in the deep caves?" Suaping asked. "How did you know?" Qin Duhuang was surprised by Suaping's conjecture. "The deep caves at the Nordic continent have been compromised. The legendary battle pet warriors posted there were rooted, and wild beasts were able to come out." Suaping felt his mind weighed down by anxiety. The deep caves was the source of the problem. "I wonder if we'll have a situation similar to that of the deep caves here." Qin Duhuang expressed his worry and heaved a sigh. He thought that was the most likely scenario. It would mean that the future for the human race was worrisome. Suaping said nothing for a few seconds. Eventually, he said, "I have to go out for a bit. I will trust that you'll safeguard Longjiang. I have a batch of new beast kings in my store and they are good. Come and check them out when you're free. I will finish the transaction when I come back." "New beast kings?" Qin Duhuang was panting. "Mr. Su, were you out and about hunting beast kings?" Qin Shuhei and the other titled battle pet warriors stared at Suaping in astonishment. "More beast kings? How come Suaping was able to get his hands on beast kings all the time?" They were longing to get beast kings of themselves. Being titled battle pet warriors, they could sign contracts with ocean state beast kings. If Suaping could sell them some, they would be able to challenge the legendary rank creatures. "That's all." Suaping hung up the call. "Mr. Su," an aged titled battle pet warrior asked Suaping as soon as the call ended, "can we buy the beast kings as well?" The other titled battle pet warriors only showed their eagerness with their eyes, afraid of bothering Suaping if they asked him the same question. Suaping didn't want to say no to those people, but he had to. "No, I can only sell those beast kings to legendary battle pet warriors. You wouldn't be able to sign the contracts, even if I was able to sell the beast kings to you. Only legendary battle pet warriors." They were stunned. That is to say, those beast kings were at the void state. They had gained a better understanding ever since Qin Duhuang reached the legendary rank. It was an educational experience for the whole family. A beast king of the void state was even more powerful than Qin Duhuang. But Suiping was going to sell those beast kings. Suiping never ceased to stun them. Suiping decided to find a way to comfort them. I may sell beast kings that are even more powerful than those ones in the future. So, if you want to buy the beast kings, work hard and cultivate. Try to reach the legendary rank and then you can buy the beast kings. The titled battle pet warriors wondered if they should say yes or no. Cultivate? Reach the legendary rank. Suiping was talking as if reaching the legendary rank was as easy as drinking water. But that's the legendary rank, for crying out loud. So many talented titled battle pet warriors were stuck there, never able to reach the legendary rank. Suiping didn't waste another second after he left the Qin family. He had to go and find the little skeleton as soon as possible. The good thing was that Suiping was currently able to tell that the little skeleton's life was not in danger, all thanks to their bond established through the contract. Even in the deep caves, the little skeleton had still managed to stay safe. Whoosh! Suiping summoned the Inferno Dragon and sat on its back, then commanded it to fly toward the base city at the heart of the subcontinent district. He used the agility buff on the Inferno Dragon. The beast pet instantly vanished in the sky above the Longjiang base city. Suiping saw many beasts as they made their way through the wild terrains. Those wild beasts were walking around and some of them were organized in small packs. When compared with the past, the wild beasts had indeed become more active. Those wild beasts would have never left the barren areas before. After all, the wild beasts could get very territorial. In a similar vein, humans wouldn't leave their base cities for no reason. Suiping kept on frowning as they traveled. The birds were being scared away by the Inferno Dragon's energy. Even the usual 9th rank beasts would shudder with fear in front of the Inferno Dragon, let alone the birds. That trip to the Golden Crow's Star had bettered the Inferno Dragon as well. After all, it was thanks to the dragon's protection to fend off the heat that Suiping became able to focus his mind solely on cultivation. Longyang Base City. A magnificent wall covered the base city's perimeter. There were many battle pet warriors in golden armor flying around in the sky. Several titled battle pet warriors stood out. Whoosh! A dragon was approaching the base city. Suiping stood on the back of the Inferno Dragon. His clothes fluttered and the wind was blowing his hair back. He stood on the dragon and he gazed at the ground. Who goes there? The titled battle pet warriors flew toward the overwhelming dragon. Even though they felt pressured, the critical times dictated that they would have to face all dangers. Suiping from Longjiang! Suiping shouted. A titled battle pet warrior seemed to be surprised. You! Suiping frowned. He didn't recognize the man. Soon, he remembered that last time he visited the Longyang base city with Mo Fengping, that middle-aged man who was deliberately trying to create difficulties for him. You know him? Another titled battle pet warrior asked the middle-aged man. No, but I think he's related to the Valiant Academy. The middle-aged man then snorted at Suiping. This is the Longyang base city. Anyone below the legendary rank is not allowed to fly without permission. There are several legendary battle pet warriors here, so flying is strictly prohibited, do not disturb them. Get down and put away your battle pet. You will walk from here. Can legendary battle pet warriors fly? Suiping asked coldly. Of course, someone else answered. That'll do then. Suiping cut that man off and told the Inferno Dragon to fly onward. Stop! Several men moved to stop him. The middle-aged man bellowed, Didn't you hear me? Are you fooling yourself, thinking that you're a legendary battle pet warrior? I am not, but I've killed some. Does that count? Suiping asked. You killed some? Are you kidding me? The middle-aged man sneered. Before he was able to continue ridiculing him, the Inferno Dragon stepped in. Roar! That roar echoed in a large area that even went beyond the walls. The titled battle pet warriors who were obstructing the dragon were dumbstruck, as if they had been exposed to a violent storm. Two of them were trembling, they had even soaked their pants. The titled battle pet warrior who had just teased Suaping was the most scared of them all. He opened his eyes wide as if he had seen the most horrifying things. "How dare you stop my master?" The Inferno Dragon's deep and sonorous voice echoed in the air. The titled battle pet warriors finally came back to their senses. They felt their blood was freezing. "This dragon is terrifying. It can talk." Whoosh! The Inferno Dragon flapped its wings and directly flew over the obstructing people. If it weren't for the contract and Suaping's order of not hurting people for no reason, the Inferno Dragon would have killed those titled battle pet warriors with its roar alone. That, Suaping from Longjiang? I think there's a terrifying guy in the Longjiang base city. What's his name again? I think Su something, right? The titled battle pet warriors looked at each other in fright. The middle-aged man who had teased Suaping turned pale and could not stop shaking. Soon, Suaping arrived at the Valiant Academy. Whoosh! The Inferno Dragon extended its wings and cast a huge shadow over the campus. Suaping was trying to search for Yunwan Li. He then found something interesting. There were two more legendary battle pet warriors standing next to Yunwan Li. "And who are you?" Suaping asked. "My title is Water Blade." The middle-aged man gazed at Suaping. "How dare you ride on your battle pet on campus? 3 legendary battle pet warriors are discussing a critical matter here. You cannot afford to disturb them." Suaping paid no attention to the man and told the Inferno Dragon to land on the building. "Courting death." The middle-aged man was enraged. He unleashed astral powers and hopped to the Inferno Dragon, then he created a formation with one hand. A shield 10 meters in diameter covered the building. Bang! The shield broke as soon as it came into being. The middle-aged man was startled. 2 people suddenly arrived. One of them pushed down the middle-aged man by grabbing his shoulder and the other man stood in front of the Inferno Dragon. "Brother Su, please." The Inferno Dragon felt Suaping's intent and came to a stop, but purple lightning bolts were still flickering in its eyes as it stared at the man. "How have you been, Principal?" Suaping asked. Yunwan Li looked into the Inferno Dragon's eyes and felt his heart skip a beat. It had not been long since their last encounter, and yet Suaping's dragon was even more horrifying than the last time he had seen it. "Brother Su, everything is well." Yunwan Li smiled fawningly. He didn't have the courage to assume any great airs in front of Suaping, not after he witnessed Suaping's combat strength in the deep caves. "Brother Yun, this is..." The old man standing with the middle-aged man gazed at Suaping with a frown. The elder was able to tell that the person standing on the Inferno Dragon was at the titled rank, but he was still feeling pressured. The Inferno Dragon seemed to be more vicious than the common beast kings. "Sir." The fact that his teacher and principal Yunwan Li were alerted scared the middle-aged man. He apologized at once. "I couldn't stop him in time, that is not your fault. This is Fate Challenger Su. We call him Fate Challenger, but not even the legendary battle pet warriors at the Void State can defeat him. He is certainly the strongest Fate Challenger to ever appear on the blue planet. It is natural that you couldn't stop him, and you should not stop him, either," Yunwan Li said. "Fate Challenger." The middle-aged man narrowed his eyes in fear. "This young man here is a Fate Challenger? A Fate Challenger equal to a Void State legendary battle pet warrior. He is even stronger than my teacher." Even the old man standing next to the middle-aged man was visibly startled by the revelation. "Are you the one who once disturbed the tower but got away?" the old man asked. Yunwan Li forced a smile. "Yes, this is that brother Su." The old man took a deep breath and cupped his fists. "I am Lu Xian. Mr. Su, I have heard so much about you, and I'm glad to have the chance to finally meet you. You are a stunning man." The middle-aged man began to panic, since his teacher was acting so respectfully. He immediately offered his apologies. "Sir, I am sorry. I was as blind as a bat. Please forgive me, sir." He bowed to his waist and was afraid to look at Suaping. Whoosh! Another man arrived. It was a young man in his late 20s. He darted Suaping a quick glance. Mr. Su, it is you. I've been wanting to meet you. I heard that you made the otherworld heavenly king leave. What a heroic deed that was. You must be from the tower, Suaping said with a straight face. Lu Xian nodded. The world is in chaos, we were assigned to help Brother Yun safeguard Long Yang. It was clear that Suaping didn't think that was helpful enough. I heard that the Nordic continent is in crisis because of the deep caves. I also remember learning that the deep caves are connected globally. The formation underground must have failed. Have you heard any news from below? Not for now. 2 legendary battle pet warriors have gone into the deep caves and they will inform us if they find any problems, Yunwan Li answered. So, there are 5 legendary battle pet warriors here, including you. Yes. Are any of you at the void state? Well, Yunwan Li looked at the 2 legendary battle pet warriors and smiled at Suaping embarrassingly. Brother Su, you may not know this, but it's not easy to reach the void state. There are only 12 legendary battle pet warriors in the tower, so the answer is no. Suaping frowned. He wanted to blurt out some things but stopped himself. The 5 legendary battle pet warriors were at the ocean state. They couldn't even compare to one at the void state while working together. If something had gone wrong in the deep caves, he didn't think the 5 would amount to much. During his last trip to the deep caves, he had encountered beasts like the chained ghost. It took some planning for the wild beasts to get out from the deep caves. That round of strikes was definitely uncommon. Still, I believe that the 5 of us are more than enough, Lu Xian said with a smile, although he wasn't smiling on the inside. Suaping didn't say it out loud, but he could tell that the Fate Challenger didn't think highly of them. Suaping had been able to get out from the tower unharmed, but that was only because the tower hadn't chosen to pursue him. Otherwise, no one would have gotten out from the tower after that huge mess. He's right. We can stop a large-scale strike, the young legendary battle pet warrior added. Suaping remained silent. Arguing with them was meaningless. Where is Li Yuanfeng? Suaping asked Yunwan Li. Yunwan Li didn't expect that question. Mr. Li has gone back to the deep caves. He said he wanted to go and help his brothers. Suaping nodded. Did he go to the tower? Yes. Good. I'm going to the deep caves then, Suaping said. Since Li Yuanfeng had visited the tower, they would be aware of the situation down in the deep caves. It was not his problem anymore. You're going to the deep caves now. Lu Xian cautioned Suaping at once, Brother Su, the situation inside the deep caves is not good. We don't think you should go in. Right. The young legendary warrior frowned. Neither approved of such a rash decision. Yunwan Li tried to persuade Suaping, Brother Su, if you want to offer some help, I suggest you stay above ground. All the base cities need more people at the moment, after all, we have a limited number of legendary battle pet warriors. Not all base cities can receive the support of legendary battle pet warriors, some base cities only have Beast King battle pets to help. If you stay here, you'll be able to help more people. Suaping understood that. I have to go because my battle pet is still there. Your battle pet? Finally, the 3 knew why Suaping had made the trip over. Isn't it too risky? Just to get your battle pet? Lu Xian still disproved Suaping's choice. He could always train another battle pet. His life was not replaceable if he died in the deep caves. Right. The young legendary battle pet warrior nodded. He also believed that Suaping should give up his battle pet. After all, those beasts were intended to help and protect battle pet warriors. Still, Yunwan Li didn't advise against it. He had visited the deep caves with Suaping and knew how attached Suaping was to his battle pets. Enough said. Stay here and do your job, Suaping curtly said. The Inferno Dragon turned around and went toward the entrance to the deep caves. Hey, the three were surprised after seeing how determined Suaping was, even though it didn't sound right. It was as if the master of the tower were talking to them. Brother Su, I'm coming with you, Yunwan Li shouted. He went after Suaping at once. Lu Xian and the young one stared as the two left. Once Suaping was gone, Lu Xian said to the middle-aged man, "You can stand up now. He is no longer here." The middle-aged man finally raised his head, his back was drenched in cold sweat. While his teacher was a legendary battle pet warrior, he would still be in trouble if he ever offended another. It is fortunate that the guy is merely at the titled rank. If he were at the legendary rank, I don't think you and I would stand a chance if we were attacked by him. Lu Xian narrowed his eyes. The young legendary battle pet warrior was surprised. Are you serious? We wouldn't stand a chance? Suaping, if he were at the legendary rank, was able to defeat them instantly. The young legendary battle pet warrior didn't believe that. Lu Xian said coldly, "Didn't you see the dragon that Suaping was riding? That vigor and look in the dragon's eyes. I have no doubt that the dragon would have crushed me if it had not stopped in time." The middle-aged man turned pale. His teacher had said so. He would have died if his teacher hadn't protected him. That dragon is scary. The young legendary battle pet warrior looked worried as he thought of Suaping's dragon. The most powerful fate challenger of all times. When he reaches the legendary rank, he may become someone like our tower master. Lu Xian lowered his voice. The young legendary battle pet warrior said nothing in reply. At entrance number 7 to the deep caves on campus, there were more guards than usual. 6 of the guards were at the titled rank. 4 of them were standing by the entrance and 2 were hiding in corners in the distance. The latter pair were there to relay information in case that the guards by the entrance were killed by wild beasts bursting out from the deep caves. "Sir," the guards bowed to Yunwan Li. "I'm going in," Yunwan Li said. He flew into the entrance to show Suaping the way. Suaping had put away the Inferno Dragon. It could enter the cave, but there wasn't enough room for the beast to move about at will. Suaping and Yunwan Li flew onward. Suaping was so fast that Yunwan Li realized he had to exert full strength to catch up with him. Suaping wasn't using any teleportation. It was already difficult for him to keep up with Suaping as it was. Suaping could easily get rid of him if he decided to use teleportation. Still, Suaping was just at the titled rank. Yunwan Li complained about Suaping inwardly. Soon, they had reached the deepest parts. They arrived at the first strategic pass. Suddenly, 2 people dashed out from the sides and a beast king of the stone family crawled out. "Brother Yun." The 2 were about to stop the people breaking in when, to their surprise, they saw that it was Yunwan Li. "Brother Su, I cannot go beyond this point," Yunwan Li said to Suaping. Suaping nodded. "I can manage." "Brother Yun, this is..." A middle-aged titled battle pet warrior approached them and sized up Suaping in confusion. A legendary battle pet warrior in his 50s, who was wearing a golden armor, gazed at Suaping. Suaping looked familiar. Suddenly, he remembered that it was the young man who had killed legendary battle pet warriors in the tower, in broad daylight. The legendary battle pet warrior shuddered with fear by the sudden remembrance. Guarding the deep caves was a job limited to legendary battle pet warriors. Titled battle pet warriors. They couldn't do anything in the deep caves other than dying in vain. "You can say so." Yunwan Li shook his head. Suaping's story was complicated, he couldn't explain in plain terms. Suaping nodded to the legendary battle pet warrior and said to Yunwan Li, "I have to go." "Okay." Whoosh! Suaping flew past the strategic outpost and entered the complex pathway. The man wearing the golden armor finally relaxed after Suaping disappeared. He approached Yunwan Li at once and asked, "Brother Yun, how do you know this, Malice?" "Malice?" The other legendary battle pet warrior didn't understand. What do you mean? His friend produced a forced smile. Brother you were away for a while. You must have heard about the death of Brother Abyssal Ocean. That malice did it. He also punched a senior legendary battle pet warrior at the Void State. He killed Abyssal Ocean. The middle-aged legendary battle pet warrior narrowed his eyes. Legend Abyssal Ocean was an ocean state warrior. He himself had spent some years in the tower. Even though he had not reached the Void State, he had been a respected legendary battle pet warrior. That young man was the murderer? He punched a legendary battle pet warrior at the Void State? Mr. Fan was at the Void State. We don't talk about his death often because his death also shamed the other legendary battle pet warriors of the same rank. You weren't there but I was. One punch and Fan was gone. The legendary battle pet warrior wearing the golden armor was still unsettled. Some legendary battle pet warriors who weren't there when the chaos at the tower happened did hear some details about it, but the legendary battle pet warriors at the Void State told people to avoid speaking about it because they wanted to protect their dignity. Being the case, those who were away like Yunwan Li only knew that a violent guy had killed Legend Abyssal Ocean, and that guy's strength was equal to the Void State. Still, those who had been there in person knew that the young man was even more intimidating than that. That was why the young man had been able to leave the tower after he caused such a great commotion. It wasn't because they had let the young man leave. It was because no one had been able to stand up to him. Well, the middle-aged legendary battle pet warrior was at a loss for words. After a while, he finally found his tongue. I think he's at the titled rank, right? Yunwan Li was also stunned. He had always known that Suiping was powerful but he didn't know he could kill a Void State warrior with one punch. Suiping had been into the Dragon Tower. That was proof that he was young. When he went to the tower, Suiping might not have even been at the titled rank. The very thought made Yunwan Li shudder with fear. He could not believe such a person existed on the blue planet. Whoosh! Suiping was pressing forward at full speed in the darkness. Wait for me! Wait for me! He became more anxious as he thought about how the little skeleton wasn't far away. He wished he could find it the next second. The place was like a maze, with many forks in the road. The pathways looked different from the last time he had been there. Suiping felt he had gotten lost. Whoosh! He flew onward, searching one pathway after another. Dead end. Another fork in the road. Another one. Time flew and Suiping was trying every pathway he found. He would mostly stumble upon dead ends. The search had been in vain thus far. Suiping was losing patience. He felt the pathways were changing silently. The first half of a pathway would often seem familiar, then it would lead him to another place. It was as if the maze were a living thing, and the pathways were its internal organs. After another dead end, Suiping began to blurt out insults. Oh, to hell with you! He then said, come out and help me. The Dark Dragon Hound and the Inferno Dragon came out from two swirls which appeared next to Suiping and their violent rage filled the pathway. Carrying bolts of lightning and wisps of darkness, the Inferno Dragon and Dark Dragon Hound stood and flanked him as guards. Lend me your strength. Suiping wanted to leverage their help. The Inferno Dragon's eyes were glistening in a purple color. The dragon roared and passed its energy to Suiping through the bond of the contract. Suiping was gaining momentum, his combat strength had instantly reached the legendary rank, even close to the peak of the ocean state. But the Inferno Dragon was just sharing 1/3 of its energy. The dragon was close to the peak of the 9th rank but its energy was several times richer than that of a peak ocean state creature. That was the result of repeated training in cultivation sites. Suiping's battle pets had to challenge beasts far more powerful and they were oftentimes in dire need of energy. They had to condense and refine their energy again and again so that they could unleash greater skills. Void Sword, Suiping took out his sword. His eyes glistened. His consciousness and his body became one with the weapon and a strange feeling climbed onto his arm. Destruction. He moved. Bang! The wall collapsed, revealing a dark swirl behind the dead end. Dark Dragon Hound. Sui Ping said. The Dark Dragon Hound barked, instantly adding more than 100 legendary rank defensive skills over Sui Ping and the Inferno Dragon. Sui Ping stepped into the dark swirl. The turbulent air was peeling off the defensive layers. Sui Ping could faintly tell where the little skeleton was by sensing the contract bond. Boom! The void soared again. The space in front of Sui Ping collapsed. There was a void beyond that swirl full of violent and roaring winds. Sui Ping stepped into the swirl with the Dark Dragon Hound and Inferno Dragon. They fell straight down after coming out on the other end of the swirl. He unleashed astral powers and immediately stabilized himself. He then saw that he had appeared in a vast and boundless world. Such a vast world was extremely empty. Completely empty. No landscapes, no flowers, not even the sea nor the ground. There was nothing but misty clouds. The wind field? Sui Ping remembered the 5 fields that Yan Yuxiu had mentioned. The ice field had been one of them. The gale in the air told Sui Ping it was most likely the wind field. It's difficult for titled battle pet warriors to even stay alive in this place. Sui Ping didn't do anything to protect himself against the gale. His physical strength was close to that of young golden crows. He could also withstand strikes by beings at the void state without relying on any external help. The gale was like a gentle breeze to him. Someone's there. Sui Ping looked to the west. Without hesitation, he hopped onto the Inferno Dragon and dashed away. After a while, Sui Ping reached a place where the shadow of a building could be seen on the clouds. He saw some wings right under the clouds. It had to be a gigantic bird. The mist bird. Sui Ping was surprised. It was a rarely seen void state beast king. Suddenly, he heard a shout, "Who's there?" 3 people appeared. The fastest one reached Sui Ping in an instant. The person was surprised to see it was a human riding an Inferno Dragon. The man was less hostile. "Who are you?" The middle-aged man frowned. The other 2 had also moved closer. One of them was surprised to see that it was Sui Ping. "Brother Su." Sui Ping found that man familiar. He seemed to be a legendary battle pet warrior he had met in the ice field. "It is you." That person fixed his eyes on Sui Ping and said, "I cannot believe that you are here again. Did you come back to help us? Do you know Li Yuanfeng?" Sui Ping wanted to confirm. The man was a bit speechless. "Ah, Brother Su, you forgot all about me. Li is back and he told us about you. You got out from the corridor. Awesome." He gave Sui Ping a thumbs up along with praise. Sui Ping said, "I'm sorry. I was in a hurry and did quite get your names. I thought you were at the ice field. What are you doing here? Is Li here with you? Do you know each other?" The middle-aged legendary battle pet warrior who had met Sui Ping first was still puzzled. The other legendary battle pet warrior had let his guard down as well. Since this young man is their friend, he must be here to help. The man who recognized Sui Ping said, "This is the brother Su that old Li had told us about." "Really?" The other 2 were startled. They sized the young man up and down, as if he were an exotic animal. The man who came out from the corridor? The one at the titled rank. Both of them thought that old Li was making up a story. But the hero of that story was at the moment standing right there. Not long after, they noticed that Sui Ping was only at the titled rank. That is, unless he were hiding his rank, using a skill that even they couldn't see through. Otherwise, it would have been a fact that Sui Ping was at the titled rank. How can a titled battle pet warrior be so terrifying? The 2 still had doubts. It was the corridor, a place that not even a team of legendary battle pet warriors at the void state could make back from, not even with careful planning.